Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
Welcome back, friends and fans. This is like
That was the weirdest.
We're having such a hot fire conversation.
I wanted to start it like an NPR podcast.
Oh yeah, He took it to a weird
I was
place.
going for a vibe. Yay! We were just talking about how we're going to be more on top of the soundboard buttons now.
Yeah, you guys get ready. We're gonna press a couple buttons. Dex is gonna press a couple buttons tonight.
And well, wow, what a special day. We're
Yeah.
already reusing guests.
And this one, okay, had to. There was a high price, I understand.
Yeah, I had to do some things.
You had to do some things to get this one back on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. The voice of the show, the original Rad Mom, the beautiful, sultry voice you hear at the beginning of our episode. It's Alisha. Welcome to Rad Dad Redemption Podcast.
Thank you. So excited to be here. Just
I can tell.
Can't wait. I was voluntold, so then
Yes.
I gave additional tasks to get me on here. But
What
I'm
was
here.
What was the task?
I had to do.
Was it sexual
all of
in
her-
nature?
Yeah, I had to do all of her favorite positions, which is
was-
which is lay on the other side of the
think
bed
it
and
was-
don't touch me.
Yeah, that's correct.
No, she needed a button in an Excel spreadsheet. Now, I'm not an Excel guy. I don't know if you are. Alicia's obviously not because she had to enlist me.
I'd like to think I am, but then I see people who know how to
Yeah.
Excel, and I
Yeah.
don't know how to fucking Excel.
I know how to basic Excel. I
Yeah.
don't know how to do what I wanted, but I knew how to think of what I wanted.
I can make the columns bigger. I can highlight.
Merge and
Yeah.
center.
If I use if there's a bunch of numbers, I can add them together. Sum. But I don't know how to stop summing.
Yeah.
Like to make it finite. I only want this added. I'll do it once, and every number gets added. I can't Excel.
So she was building a spreadsheet. She had the spreadsheet built, but she wanted a file to be uploaded into the cell. Now, there's a very easy way to do that. Control K, and then it takes you to link a file into a cell. But she didn't have faith that the person that was going to be using this on the other end would understand how to click two buttons on a keyboard at the same time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I need to make this foolproof. I need to make this perfect. So she's like, I want a button. And I was like, that should be easy, right? It was not easy. I had to write code. I had to enable developer mode on Excel, write code for this
You
button.
had to hack Excel.
I had to hack Excel. I had to go into VBA, Visual Basic, so for the nerds out there. And I had to like write this code so that when you click this button, it brings up the file upload window and you can just select your file and it puts it in the cell for future users to be able to download themselves. So, and it was way more of a project. It was a 2-night project. So yeah, she has to donate some time on the podcast.
And this is what you traded.
That's what we traded.
Yep.
Wow. I feel special. You
should.
You could. Yeah. I honestly, there's so much more that you could have done with that, but you chose to lift us up, and we have Alisha on because you're an actual high level athlete. I mean,
I wouldn't say a high level athlete, but
well, like Dex style, or like what's your sports background?
I played basketball.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. And you're also
Super high level.
super high level, but you're also a super diehard fan of the Olympics.
And an F45er. I was going to throw that in too.
Yeah.
She just did her 200 class.
200 club. I saw that.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going. Yeah, this week I was like super sore, like more sore than normal. So that really sucked. Really
From all the
welcomed me into
spreadsheeting we did.
200. Yeah. From that intense laying on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's going well. But yeah, I played basketball. That was the only. Oh, I did track and field when I was growing up. But
Okay.
And you
I
watched
quit
the
when
fuck
they
out of the
made-
Olympics.
I love the Olympics.
That's why we brought you on.
Yeah.
Very timely episode.
Yeah.
What were your track and field events?
60-meter dash, 100-meter dash, and high jump and long jump.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have we talked about track and field? Track and field was a thing, definitely.
Dex informed me that his race was the 800 meter.
No, and then I was like, wait, no, that's too
took
far.
it away.
Wait, how far is that? How many laps is that?
And he said, I think I liked the 400, but more so the 200. And I was like, oh.
Just keeps getting smaller.
He actually didn't run at all. I
actually like the 10
he shot
meters
the gun.
between where I was sitting and where they were selling hot dogs. I did the 10-meter hot dog sprint a time.
Actually, I think maybe I've told this story, or maybe I've just told it to you off the podcast, but OJ Sports Day, I think, is what you were kind of getting at.
OJ Simpson Sports Day, yes. My favorite day of the year.
Okotoks Junior High. But the OJ Sports Day was like always kind of a big deal, right? And there's the track and field days and the javelin and everything, all that.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah, and so I remember one time Brad and I entered, and we were in the same class, and we ran the 100-meter, and we both did well in our heat, but neither of us were thinking like, oh, we're going to be in the finals. So then we were like, all right, we did our requisite, running event. Now let's go hit up the hot dog stand or the hamburger stand. We each got these huge burgers, fries, a Coke. We're sitting on the side hill, and then they're like waving us down. They're like, Dex, Brad, like you guys are in the finals. And we had I was licking my fingers finishing this hamburger. I was like, what? And so like full gullets, like we had to go run, and like Brad will maintain that he still ran a good time, but I'm telling you, him and I were like well behind the pack because we were hauling an extra 4 pounds.
Just that. Nothing else. There's no other reason why you guys were out of contention.
Yeah.
I think we could have been with our times.
High level athletic pass.
You know what? I'm talking shit. He crushed me in the sprint and he called his shot. We definitely, we have talked about that because.
Yeah, I think yeah. So dedicated podcast listeners, you're welcome for telling that story a second time.
Yeah, tune in for more content.
We're really recycling.
No, this is all new. I'm excited to talk Olympics.
But I did track and field not only at school. Like I was in a track and field club. I played behind the Cannon Stadium. It's where like we had our track and field practice.
What's that called? That's called something. It's
called club. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, okay. Track club, but that's where they used to host the zone competition because you'd go like your school one, then you go to divisionals, which is just like all the schools in the area, and then zones was like you go compete against, and we get crushed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember. I think one year for the 200 meter, I went to those zones. Like I went to divisionals, and then I went to zones, and then I realized, oh, like I'm not that fast actually. Like there's Calgary kids here now.
Yeah. What was your best event? What were you strongest in?
The 100-meter and high jump.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting combination. Mm-hmm. I did high jump, not at a club, and I also did shot put, and that was another really interesting one. And the one time I made it to zones, they held them at the same time, so I'd have to go and do my high jump, and then rip over and place my shot. And I remember walking out of the circle, like I had like one good throw, and then I walked out the front like you're toast. And even then, I was like, come on, it's junior high. Let me go. I'm doing 2 events at once. But you kind of feel like in those moments going through those divisional zones, whatever, like you feel like a really high-level athlete. And it gives you license to watch the Olympics now. And when these like career athletes fuck up and do things poorly, you're like,
I did that in grade 8.
I did that in grade 8.
You suck. Yeah. No, it makes me feel way better.
One of the things that I laughed, so Alicia's, we don't watch a ton of TV in our house. Like Netflix, Disney, that all exists for the kids. I feel like we don't watch a ton. People be like, hey, have you seen this show? And answer is 99% of the time, no, I have not. Our TV's been like on nonstop, even throughout the night. Alicia will turn it on.
That's when the Olympics are on.
But Alicia will turn it on.
Start at 2:30.
And we're just watching we've watched so much Olympics. And the other night she turned it on to the mixed race walk marathon.
They mix races at the Olympics?
Not only.
Very progressive organization. They mix
name change might be in order.
I should have maybe said the mixed race walk.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Mixed genders.
I got you.
So I watched
got you
this
the first
race.
Time. I was just fucking with you.
I know. I watched this race live while Alicia's sleeping. She turned it on, and I watched it live. And it was a 3-hour race walk, and I watched the whole thing, beginning to end.
And we're riveted?
No. No.
Just had it on.
Of all the sports
was
I think
coding
I've watched.
during it.
Yeah, I was coding. Of all the sports
Hacking
I think
Excel.
I've watched, that has to be the dumbest one. Because basically, they are walking. And, if you know the rules of race walk, you can't have both feet in the air because that would be running. So you always have to have one foot on the ground. But they're trying, these elite athletes, these elite walkers.
So that's the distinction. You always have to have contact.
Yeah.
And it makes them look super sassy.
Oh, yeah. And they're like moving their hips and
The hip sway is required.
the hips.
I also was thinking, like, when I run, I'm pretty sure there's always one foot on the ground.
You could be a race walker.
You just got to
But I'm like, oh, my track and field days are long gone. Like,
no, we'll get.
I
we'll get you in there.
always
We'll
have
get
a
you in
foot
there.
touching.
The LA Olympics coming up next 4 years from now. Alicia's going to be in the race walk.
The oldest race walker.
That's another point I want to make. But anyway,
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
the race walk, there's judges all along this track. And they're doing this, I don't know how long the track is, but there's judges every, let's call it like 20 meters. And they've got these like official suit jackets on, like these blazers and these hats, these like fedoras. And if they catch people coming out, like basically running both feet off the ground, they will run out in front of them with like a paddle, and it's got like a yellow circle on it. And that's their warning. You get enough warnings, you get a card. You get 3 cards, it's a 3-minute time penalty. You get 7 cards, you're disqualified. They were just flashing these yellow cards, these yellow warnings, but they weren't giving a ton of cards. Like there's a few teams that had like 2 cards, but they were very careful about giving too many cards. So all it was basically like, you're running, you're also running. Hey, you're still running, you're running. And I was like, so we're just watching slow runners, basically, is effectively what this is. Like everybody was cheating.
And there has to be some strategy to that. Like the race walkers are like, how many times can you get away with it?
Yeah.
Right?
And when you get a card, okay, I'm going to pull back a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to actually keep my foot touching the ground. But that is insane that you watch that. You and Alisha, you guys are unicorns. And that's why I wanted to have this episode. And I pushed for you hard. I was like, get Alisha on here. She's funny. She's gonna tear Dex down if he.
Because I'm the only person that watches apparently all of the Olympics.
But who does? Like I was thinking about it, and Winter Olympics I get hyped for, but that's specifically like I'm gonna watch hockey, or I might watch like snowboard cross. There's like 2 events, and if I miss them, I just have to like go on living my life. Sorry, but you guys have it on all the time.
Yeah, it's on right now.
Oh yeah,
It was on upstairs. Yeah,
when I walked in. Have you always done that? And I want to like, the context here is like coming out of COVID and like Tokyo 2020, which happened a year after. Like a lot of the word on the street or like in media was like, no one gives a shit about the Olympics. You guys are full stop fans. Watch the whole thing. What's the draw?
I guess I'm the one that watches it, and he's just like watches
I'm in the room.
because he's there. I liked it because I got to see different sports growing up, and I was like, I want to try that. And that's how I got into track and field.
Okay.
And like I watched it and I was like, that looks really cool. And then I'd like race my brother down the street, and my parents were like, wow, you're actually kind of fast. And I was like, well, he's really slow.
Dissed. Matt's so slow.
Take that, Matt.
He is super slow.
Hey, if you're listening, buddy, you are so fucking slow.
He's catching strays.
Yeah. So like it was cool. And then at one point I was like, I want to be a speed skater. I want to be Katrina Ladone, or whatever the hell her name was. But anyway, and I was like, I'm going to do that. And then I realized I couldn't skate. So like, then I realized you have to learn how to skate to then be on speed skates. And then it was like, that's a lot of work. But yeah, I just found it a really cool way to like see different sports that were played. And so I guess now that we have kids and like we've determined that Kennedy's not going to be a soccer player, or anything with any sort of aggression. Yeah, it's been fun to watch it with her. I'm like, is that what you're going to do? Is that what you're going to do? And she's like, oh, that'd be cool. So I don't know. Gave ideas.
And is it a bit of a representation thing? Like you see, like, do you have any Olympic heroes from when you were younger? You said Katrina Lemay-Doan. Mm-hmm. Like you saw that and you're like, I'm going to follow her career, or I'm going to try that sport sort of thing.
Yeah. And there was one runner. I can't remember her name now. Flo?
Like the progressive girl?
It was not her.
No.
No.
I remember Donovan Bailey.
Florence something. Yeah, Donovan Bailey.
Yeah.
No, there was like, I'm pretty sure her name was Flo, but I had like pictures of her on the wall and like yeah, she was just a really incredible runner. So anyway, yeah,
I would say for me, like the Olympics inspires like this nationalistic pride that I don't otherwise carry with me. Like I wouldn't say I'm like a dedicated Canadian patriot. Like I do love Canada, but I'm not like, but when the Olympics are on, man, I'm dissing every other country. I'm just like, like, Canada is the shit.
I think we also talked about, it's cool to see, like, it's funny to see like different countries. So like obviously like Kenya and Ethiopia, like they're long distance runners.
Yeah, they
like
just churn out long distance.
like,
Which country's good at which events?
Yeah, like there's like certain countries that are just like Australia is so good at swimming. And like, I'm like, what do they do in that country? Does everybody swim? Like, does everybody in China dive?
If you go swimming in Australia, it's like, shark. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. It's cool to see that. And then also it's like one of the only times that like all of Canada is on the same page, basically.
Well, Brad taught me this word. That's collective effervescence. It's everyone's just like being a part of something, and it's positive. Like, hey, look, and it's funny because you always get the Canadian angle. That's as someone outside the Olympic fandom, we'll call it. Like when you're watching the news, like they report on everything that Canada does, but on the global scale, on the Olympic scale, like we're very small potatoes. We're actually not doing too much.
We've only won 21 medals.
Okay, but Canada per capita punches way above its weight in the Olympics.
And it's huge, and it dominates the news. You turn on the news and it's like so-and-so got a bronze medal in like backwards ping pong. And that is headline. Then it's like, there's another attack in wherever. It's like, wait.
Also, they were going to kill all of Taylor Swift's fans.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I also know two people that went to the Olympics. So I think like that into like my adult life.
Know Olympians?
Yeah.
Do tell. Do tell.
On the 8-person, what was that? Kayak?
The 8-person
rowing.
Team.
Yeah. I went to high school with the girl Cassia.
Okay.
Yeah. So she used to be a swimmer. She was like a high level swimmer in high school. And yeah, now she's won 2 medals.
She was a swimmer, and she was like, it'd be crazy if I didn't have to go in the water.
I got in a boat instead.
If I could travel across the top of the water in some way, shape, or form.
And then I had another friend. He was a ski jumper and then switched to I think it was luge. Like, that's one where you lay down and you like go down the track.
Was he going feet first or head first?
There's luge, there's skeleton.
I think he was feet first.
Okay, that would be luge. Yeah.
That's another one of those ones I watched. I'm like, I could do that.
Okay, that's a great segue. We've been having a debate. Let's call it a debate. Yes, hon? Sure. Dear, my lover, my muse. We've been having a debate.
I wouldn't say it's a debate. You've just been quite rude.
No, okay.
Now it's a debate.
Now it's definitely a debate.
Rude pants.
So we're sitting there and we're watching the synchronized diving. A very technical event.
Oh, I heard about this. I LOL'd.
Very technical event. And she's looking at it and she's like, I think Tiff and I could do that. And I was like, on what basis? Like, what?
The thing is, when I said it to you, we had already determined that we could, in fact, do synchronized diving. Like, it was a whole conversation at the gym where we were like, what Olympic event could we do? And we were on the TRX bands, and I was like, diving. She's like, so definitely.
You guys were sitting there of all Olympic sports, and you were in a track and field club of all Olympic sports. You were like, you saw these 16-year-old Chinese girls.
The high school dive team.
Yeah, what's your move? Like, are you doing like a triple back pike flare or whatever that? Or you guys,
I'm sure I could do that. Like, to me, I'm like, I can't do that on land, but like for sure, just like free falling, why not?
Absolutely not. No, that's absurd.
But I brought up Dex's. This is like when he said he could kick a 40-yard field goal.
It's true. Yeah.
But I can't. You know what? We're getting you and Tiff out at the pool next week.
This has to happen. I want to see some synchronized diving.
And then we said, well, like maybe the artistic swimming, which is basically just like dancing in the pool.
Like the solo or still synchro? Like you guys?
Like 2.
Oh, okay.
Not in a full group. We can't coordinate that many people, but like we're pretty in sync. So
that always brings up a question for me.
I'll hold on. What's the event that you watch and you're like, I could fucking do that?
What do you think? I play high level soccer.
Okay, no. Well, I mean, maybe, but
Press the boo button.
I don't have the boo button. It's funny. I put this sound on 2 different buttons. I thought that was such a good sound that it needs to be represented twice on our soundboard, and
Yeah,
we've only got
double
4
up.
buttons. Yeah. Anyway, no, we were actually watching, and it's a new sport this year in the Olympics, kayak cross. And so basically, people in kayaks get dropped in, and
It is wildly intense, and you like have to fight to go around the circle. The thing is, if it was just a straightaway, sure, honestly, anybody could do that.
I don't think I could do that straight away because I don't know if I have the upper body strength. But basically, they're like going through this course, but there's a genuine strategy is to knock other kayaks out of the way. So the guy can be in first, and you've got to basically go around this pole, let's call it.
Well, some you have to like go on the side of it, and then some you physically have to like circle it and like like go in and like basically if you got the inner edge, like you could just like basically like kick him out with the back of your boat and like carry on.
It's crossed. They all go down at the same time.
And like these markers move.
Yeah, they're like hanging
they're like
on a rope.
hanging, and so you can like maneuver it with your paddle.
That's a genuine
pull
strategy.
it towards you.
Then the guy comes out with the yellow ball and has to be like,
He's
hey,
like, no.
don't do that.
But no, like it's a genuine strategy for people that are behind. They'll come ripping in and they'll hit the other guys so that they miss their pull, and they have to like basically paddle upstream to hit their slalom pull. And so I'm like, I don't think I could beat anybody to the pole, but I'm 230 pounds. I've come ripping down there in a kayak and
You
I'll
got
hit
momentum.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many times you've seen where people are like in 3rd or 4th, but they
I
knock
like that
somebody
you
out
think
of the way.
that 230 pounds is going to rip down.
These guys are tiny. These guys are like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Did you see
you're
how
gonna sink.
nobody else was big?
they're like, and here comes Dex Dunford bringing up the rear, and I'm like up to my neck in water. Like
You're in a
just trying not to
submarine
drown.
kayak.
When you have to like go under
you
this
have to have a
bar
periscope.
and you have to like literally like turn the kayak
have
upside
to
down and be
barrel
under,
roll, yeah.
like I was like, you would never come up. Anyway, but that's the sport that Dex
I'd
thinks
be the
that he
first
can
person
do.
to die
I was just gonna
in
say,
kayak cross.
in an alternate future, you chase this dream, and it's like you go through all these trials, and it's one of those events in the Olympics that, like, you know, and there are like I've been reading a lot of stories about people who just like have hacked the system, hacked Excel, and found a way into the Olympics. They're like, oh, I'm actually going to represent this country because I have a grandma from there, and they don't have anybody doing this super obscure event, and they find their way in, and they have no fucking business. There was a girl I just read, it was in the Winter Olympics. She did like super pipe on skis because the top 31 athletes were able to qualify for the Olympics. So she just went to all these events, these obscure events that were qualifiers where no more than 31 people registered. And she literally, there's videos of her going like not up to the lip, like just kind of like pizza, turn, pizza, turn. And she's like, I'm an Olympian. There was that other girl that got kicked out of the Olympic Village because she was representing Paraguay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she like did not have any business competing and could not compete for USA. So she's like, well, I'll go over here. I'm going to represent this country, and then just comes in, makes a mockery of the whole thing, and ends up, I don't know, it hasn't come out what she did yet to get removed.
There was an Australian athlete today that got removed for trying to buy Coke.
It was a coach.
Was it a coach? I thought it was an athlete.
Yeah, it was a coach.
But she got removed because she went to like Paris Disneyland and like stayed out really late and
enjoyed her trip.
and enjoyed it. And like
The bitch.
they're like, no, you can't have fun and you can't come back late. So then she got kicked out.
Well, this is actually, okay.
But the way they said it sounded like she basically fucked everybody in the village.
Hell yeah.
Like they were like, she went against guidelines. I was like,
Yeah, and then, the slut shaming. Is that the thing? Is that a word? Am I using that correctly?
I mean, it sounds like what that's.
I don't.
what they're
That's a
doing.
dirty word. I don't even
But
like
like
saying it.
the International Olympic Committee, they know that all these, like, you've got young, attractive people.
They made anti-sex beds in Paris.
but they bought
like, they
300,000 condoms.
Well, yeah, I mean, they know that it's going to happen.
I thought this was a thing. It's like the most fit, the sexiest people on the planet, and they all get to like go into this
orgy house.
Yeah, I thought that was like the dark side of the Olympics.
It's the fuck shack.
It's like Olympics is about like competing for glory and glory holes. Like that is what happens there. That's like well known.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do your thing, girl. They shouldn't have kicked her out.
No, that's bullshit.
Get
She wanted
yours.
to see Mickey Mouse and get some dick, and they sent her home. That's bullshit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, okay, you're watching a lot of Olympics. I have some storylines from this year's Olympics, and I'm going to read them to you guys, and I want you to weigh in. Your banter is incredible. I love this. Okay.
I think you're doing very good as a host to kind of keep us on track here.
Well, because like I
I
said,
really could have gone off.
I don't watch Olympics. The only one I watched and I was like, holy shit. It was the opposite of like, oh, I could do that. We were at the Deerfoot Inn Casino. I just, jacuzzed, just fell in the shower. Actually fucking almost died. So I was nursing my wounds and we were watching.
Were you practicing your synchronized diving?
Oh my God.
Into the shower?
Yeah, no, I was practicing my friggin' kayak cross. Like I sunk. But they had the 10-meter speed climb. And the dude that won.
That's insane.
4.75 seconds.
I know.
Yeah.
He beat his own world record.
And he's a teenager.
Yeah.
I watched that and I was like, okay, these guys are fucking nuts.
I was like, that's real life Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They literally look like spiders going up the wall.
Yeah.
And when you watch in
Yeah,
slow mo,
wow.
some of them are like they're skipping the handholds and just pushing off of like a flat
They're literally
wall.
floating upwards.
Yeah. What would you do if you could do that? I mean, compete in the Olympics, but you'd have to become a cat burglar. You'd have to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got to put that skill to use in some way, shape, or form.
Segue. All right. Storylines. Olympic storylines. And I want to hear your take. If you're familiar, what you thought. I hope you disagree. Just weigh in, guys. Okay.
Okay.
So you've watched it all. Did you watch the opening ceremonies?
No, because that's
No,
when
we
we
actually
were
didn't, yeah.
camping, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was when we were camping. We were with you.
Okay, well, no, it's relevant because I was going to ask you about the naked blue man at the Last Supper parody.
That was a whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of the more, and this is from CNN, one of the more memorable moments, arguably the most unique opening ceremony in history, but one that has sparked controversy around the world. The scene in question has been described by some critics as a parody of The Last Supper, which featured drag artists and multiple dancers. The performances and scene in question also included Philippe Catherine, sorry to that dude, I don't know how to pronounce any of these, who's a French entertainer that featured as the Greek god of wine, Dionysus?
Yeah, Dionysus.
Yeah. And quickly became known as the semi-naked blue guy. In the scene, Catherine sang a song while lying on the table, seemingly without clothes, covered head to toe in glittery blue paint. Olympic organizers apologized for the scene after it was criticized by the Catholic Church and Christian groups. The French Catholic Church said the festivities included scenes of derision and mockery of Christianity. The naked blue guy came out and apologized too. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of those opening ceremonies?
I mean, so it's France, and they're gonna do some fucking weird shit. Like, I mean, you're not like, oh, like French art is like so like between the lines of like what's always no. It's like they're gonna push the envelope. They're gonna do some weird things, and here's the thing: is like even if they were poking fun at the Last Supper painting, it's like get over it a little bit. Like so many people are so butthurt about it that are so fast to turn around and be like, everyone that doesn't agree with me or thinks that I've said something untoward is a snowflake, and then they'll be like, you like reenacted one of my favorite paintings. Like it's like, get over yourself, you know?
Yeah. Really affected your life.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it feels like people are looking for a reason to be mad, and like the Catholic Church is mad about that.
The
Like,
Catholic
how many
Church
kids
has
did
no
you
right
touch?
to be mad.
How many kids
Like,
did you guys touch? Let's talk about the real problems here.
Let's
okay?
cut out the Catholic Church. They have no right to be mad. They've done enough.
There was a naked blue man on my TV, a naked French blue man, and I am furious.
He needs to go to the school system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a reason to be offended. Like, each country, that's the point of the Olympics is to show off, like, could they have done something else? For sure. Like, of all the things they chose, I just, like, am sitting there like, who thought this should definitely be in the opening ceremonies? I don't think it was offensive. I just think it's like, why?
Well, and they had to know that they were going to get some backlash. So, like, now that they're all coming out and apologizing, I'm like, you did not foresee this outcome. Like, so that's the other side of it. It's like, I don't think people should be mad, but it's also like, you should have known that you're going to make people mad. So, like, stand by what you did.
Yeah,
be
just
like,
own it. It actually looks worse now that
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we're so sorry.
I didn't mean to.
I like your take, though, that it's just like you could have also just seen it and been like, oh, yeah, French people.
But
They're all
like,
dressed like the Hunger
truly.
Games. Like they're all from the capital.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Exactly.
yeah, I guess it's in Paris. Okay. Maybe not that controversial. Okay, storylines. This one, not so wordy. Simone Biles. She's back.
Yeah,
Okay.
we watched her documentary
Yeah.
in the midst of watching the Olympics.
The only time we
Okay.
watched Netflix was to watch
Yeah.
about an Olympian.
Now here we go. What did you think? What did you think of the documentary? What do you think of her story? What do you think of her? And then also, she comes back and they fucking win.
I mean, you can't deny Simone Biles is like the greatest gymnast of all time. Like the things that she does, like she has specific,
She has 5
Moves?
rotations named after her.
yeah,
right?
like that are her moves that nobody else has done. Like she was the first to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are like, she's pretty stuck up. Like she was like definitely full of herself. Like, and fuck,
when
I
you're
would
that-
be too.
Yeah, when
if
you're
I
that
could
good,
be
how can you
that
not?
good.
And you're the most decorated gymnast of all time.
Yeah.
Is she? I think that is the thing.
And like she dropped out of the last Olympics, basically. Like, yeah, she's the most decorated. I don't know if
Gymnast?
I think it might be gymnast.
Because I think Phelps is still the most decorated Olympian.
I think gymnast. Yeah, I don't want to misspeak. I don't want
Yeah.
to engage in disinformation.
I don't remember
here.
which one it is, but like, or it might be the most decorated female
Oh, okay.
athlete.
Oh, yeah, that'll check.
But you can't like, fuck, if I was that good, you better believe I'd be full of myself. Like, I'd be pretty confident. And yeah, I mean, I think she owned up to like everything that happened the last Olympics. And I think it was good for her to leave. And I think it really opened up that conversation about mental health and like the stress that we put on sports on kids, especially like definitely it happens in Canada, but in the US, it is wild. If you show potential, like you are pushed into it and like you're basically being told you're going to be the next Olympian. I don't think there's as much pressure in Canada just because we don't take home as many medals. Even in the Winter Olympics, like we do better than summer, but it's not the same pressure. I don't know. I like her.
And like
I think she's cool. And her husband
longevity
played
of-
for the Packers. So
Oh, you're a huge Packers fan.
Mm-hmm.
But the longevity of her career, because that's like that's a sport where like these young women,
25-year
young men-
done.
Yeah, and like they're out. They're lucky to get 2 Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
and she's coming back after. I think this is her 3rd or 4th, but she had a bad one. She's like getting up there in age as a gymnast, comes back, dials it in. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Like this is very nitpicky, but the twisties, like that was such a weird thing to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
Not being a gymnast, you just like all of a sudden you can do it and you can't do it.
Yeah.
And what a lame name too. Like,
Yeah.
it's gotta-
I
like,
think
it's-
they could have come up
gotta be
with like a
something more serious.
better name for it than the twisties.
Oh my God, what happened to you? I got the twisties.
But also, like, I think about it and, like, if you see how fast they fucking turn,
You get the twisties.
like, your brain is, like, not supposed to move at that speed. Like, how quickly they run and then throw themselves through the air and twist at, like, such a speed.
Like synchronized diving.
Not as many twisties.
Not as much.
That's why Alisha could do it.
They don't suffer from
I wonder
twisties.
what the divers get. Divies? Like,
They get the divies.
Well, it's like in
The splashies. The splishy splashies. Oh, I used to be a super high level diver, but got a real bad case of the splishy splashies. Derailed my career.
Speaking of her age, though, one of the funniest things, and I think there's a comedian that's talked about this, when they talk about these athletes in the Olympics, like Simone Biles, and it's like, she's 28, and they talk about her like she's a literal bag of bones, like she's on her deathbed. They're like, she's defying all age, everything we thought about Olympians and gymnasts, because she's 28. Like, how old? What an old bitch out there,
Old,
like jumping
decrepit.
around, and you're just like 34, and you're like, she's 6 years younger than me. Come on, give
but then if you look at like the other people competing in the Olympics, especially in gymnastics, like I look at it, I'm like, there's no fucking way that in 6 or 7 years, Kennedy would be there doing this. Like, I can't wrap my head around that there's literally, or like skateboarding.
Yeah,
Like that
there's
one
like
girl
the-
was 14 and she won. She won gold and she's 14.
Where from Japan?
Yeah,
No.
I think- no, she was from the UK, wasn't she?
No, she was Australian.
Okay. I
I'm
have
just gonna name countries.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pull it together.
Sorry.
You just watched this last night, not you.
Did you watch Simone? Did you watch the floor routine? What did she win? They won the team gold.
Yeah,
They won
we
the
watched the
team.
team one.
She won the vault. She came silver and floor. What else did she win? Oh, the uneven
The uneven bars.
uneven bars.
and
Yeah.
did they get individual medals and then it's a team thing, or is that all?
So they
that
did the
all fits
team first. So like they all do their routine, but they each have like their own event. I don't think they all compete.
No, they
They each
their
have an
specialties.
event,
in? Okay.
right? So like I can't remember what Simone did.
I
I think she did
not to
vault.
take anything
the
away.
vault.
I'm not saying
She
like,
did the
oh, the
vault.
team won.
No, like so
She
they
was
each
incredible.
do. There's like 5 events, and then one person does each event. So you have to pick the team in accordance, but like they already have to be at the Olympics. So like I don't know if you've seen Clark Kent. Is he a story? Is he a headline? Superman.
He's not
You
one of
haven't
your
seen
topics.
Oh my gosh, he's Steven. I don't know his last name. Steven. So he's this engineer from the U.S. and he literally is like he looks like an engineer. Like he has these
got the
nerdy
dark-rimmed
glasses, like
yeah.
super skinny, and then he like goes up to
He does the pommel.
the
horse.
pommel, yeah, and he like whips off his glasses and then just like flies on this thing. And so, but he does the pommel horse, and then that's his event. But then in the team event, that was also his event. But those are the only 2 things he did.
No, you guys probably should have, in hindsight, picked the storylines. This is like essentially, because I'm not kidding. I don't watch the Olympics, and I was kind of just choosing what I thought sounded interesting. It wasn't like I was viewing this massive global scale spectacle and being like, wow, we got to talk about this. This is like if I did movie reviews, but my whole shtick was that I didn't watch the movie, which I think is actually a pretty funny concept.
Yeah.
I might have to work. I might have to
just
flesh
based
that
on
one
the
out.
title.
Yeah. I just review the title and what I think happened.
Anyway, highly recommend looking into him.
Yeah.
He was wild. And then they did their like show of him before, and he was like, all the guys were like surrounding him, and he's like leaning on the pommel horse, and then he just like solves the Rubik's Cube in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, he's a Rubik's Cube guy.
All right, you have to link me. You have to check this out.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's wild. And then also his family didn't have tickets to like the pommel horse finals for him, like not the team event, but just for him. So he like put it out on the internet and was like, anybody have spare tickets for my family? Yeah. Anyway, internet sensation. Clark Kent. Stephen.
I'll have to look him up. I'll use speech to text. Okay, storylines. Triathlon in Le River de Poopy Duty. The river Seine, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but this river, I did find this, it's been illegal to swim in it for 100 years.
But then they said they were going to clean it for the Olympics.
But they're going to clean it for the
And
Olympics.
then
it rained.
So they get all the top water. And have you been to Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he has.
One of the
I haven't.
grossest, dirtiest cities I've ever been to.
It's filthy.
I hate Paris. Honestly, of all the big cities in the world that you can think that you'd like to go visit on vacation, I've been to a few of those, and my favorite personally is New York. My least favorite, and I hate this fucking place, is Paris.
Yeah. We went, and I was alarmed at the sheer amount of like trash and debris,
Garbage, yeah.
and like most likely like human feces
They
everywhere.
don't pick up after their dogs there. I remember when I was there was dog shit everywhere.
And we're mad about the blue man on the table.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So this was a storyline, and I think this there was a lot of there was videos and pictures of people throwing up after, and I know that has nothing to do with the poopy doo doo water. I think
it has a little something to do with the poo-poo.
But don't you think
doo-doo
like that's
water.
a normal thing? People running like high intensity events, long distance events, like they push themselves to a point.
Well, didn't the Canadian, like he said, he was like, I was exhausted and it was hot.
Yeah.
Because he like crossed the finish line and then like projectile vomited and then proceeded to puke like 10 more times.
All of the liquid pigeon shit and like cigarette ashes he ingested had nothing to do with it. It was,
No, he's like, it definitely wasn't the water. The French doctors told me that, so it's fine.
I think it would take a day for like the E. coli to actually hit your system.
Yeah, I don't think
you'd
it would
get that
like
by the
hit
end.
immediately after you cross the finish line. I think there was a portion of it that was strictly like heat related, and also you just competed this like insane event. And I did hear that also the food is crap.
Oh yeah, people getting sick.
People
on
are
the
getting
food.
sick from
Yeah.
the food. There was a girl.
A little bit of a corporate
Who ran.
harm angle. They're like, you're putting on this spectacle, and one thing I know this Olympics has been like applauded for, or people are talking about, is like it's beautiful, and they're competing against these stunning backdrops. But
The beach volleyball court in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
But you've got this river that you're like, it's so disgusting, it's biohazard, and no one's allowed to swim here for 100 years. But it's gonna be really cool if we do it at the
Here.
expense of all these people. and I hope you're okay.
Well, and they spent an insane amount of money, like $1.4 billion over the last 5 or 6 years to try and clean up the river. And it still was not meeting like standards for humans to be in. I was like, you guys spent that much money.
Then it rained once and it immediately undid all the work that they did.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that happens in those old cities, right? Where you're built along a river, a canal, and these cities were built before
anywhere else they could have done
built.
that stretch though. Like,
yeah, they could have figured something else out. They wanted to be iconic.
Yeah.
It was pretty iconic how many people were thrown up on the side.
It was a bold move. I like that one. That was definitely one as the outsider picked it up. I was like, oh, this seems fun. This seems like maybe a misstep having everyone swim in that.
Well, that's like that classic Olympics thing where it's like, let's spend a ton of money and like completely fumble the bag, basically. Like that's what goes hand in hand with the Olympics is spending stupid amounts of money, public money usually, on a massive event for athletes to compete in and like ignore all the other problems in your country and like let's dedicate money to cleaning up a river and like not even properly do that job.
Well, I thought about that with the Naked Blue Man group. You know, they got the outrage over Tobias Funke essentially like doing his fucking dance moves.
I blew myself.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I remember Vancouver 2010 when they had the like Olympic torch.
Oh yeah.
And it was all supposed to come out of the ground. And like they had like 4 dudes. One was Gretzky. Can't remember who else was there. And they're all gonna like light the 4 sides, and then it was gonna, come together and ejaculate Olympic flame. And the one just didn't come out.
Yeah. It was like leaking hydraulic fluid.
Yeah, like on a world scale, it didn't even work. And so you just had, I forget who it was, and someone just standing there being like, no, I'm not gonna light shit. And there's no contingency here. Like that's a much bigger flub than the anal rapist getting up there and doing his thing.
I mean, I think it happens at every Olympics. And I mean,
it's a big event.
You come up with this idea and then it's like, put it into action.
Okay.
Yeah. Like this is
my Excel spreadsheet all over again.
I was going to say, this is the chili carnival of on the world stage.
You guys are like, I thought there'd be some back and forth. Maybe I picked shit topics, but you guys are on the same page here. Okay. Storylines. Turkey's double agent. Olympic sharpshooter.
Man, I love that guy.
Yeah. Okay. So Yusuf.
Something Turkish.
Yusuf D. There's a couple characters I don't recognize here. Of Turkey, the Turkish sharpshooter helped claim his country's first medal in the sport wearing what appeared to be his normal glasses and putting a hand in his pocket. Pretty fucking badass.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that?
I didn't watch it, but I saw all the highlights and the memes of him. It's funny that you see all these guys and they look like characters in Perfect Dark. Remember that game?
Yeah. They're the glasses.
They got like the glasses with like the weird cover on one eye, so they're only using their one eye, but they can keep their other eye open. They've got all these like accessories to help them focus. And this guy looks like he just rolled up, like he just bought a gun.
He just woke up.
Yeah, and he's just
it's
like
just his
hand
personal
in his
gun.
pocket. Like the only thing he could have done that would have made it cooler is if he like turned it to the side. That's the only way that would have been cooler.
And so the shit that I was reading is that like, and it's all hyperbole. It's not true. Can't be true. But he chose to get second because he's like also probably definitely a secret agent in Turkey. Like that's how qualified this guy is. Did you read that? Did you see anything?
I did
like
not
that?
see that. No.
Yeah. Okay. No controversy. All right. Moving on.
I think he's cool.
He's fucking cool. What'd you think, Alisha? Would you or wouldn't you? Hot or not? Turkish.
I don't understand.
Turkish 007.
I don't understand, like, why would they send like a secret agent?
Yeah, that seems like that would be a failure
That
on the
seems
part
like
of the Turkish Secret
wow,
Service.
they just gave this guy away on a national stage. I don't buy it.
No,
I think it was just like, oh, I can shoot, and like just went. And then it's like mildly annoying because like all these people like trained years and like put all this effort in, and he's just like, I got a good aim. Like,
yeah, hand in his pocket. No, it's like it's obviously fucking not real, and that's the age.
But also,
we live
how
in.
are you that good?
It was a little odd that he's just like he walked up, hand in the pocket, regular glasses, but doink, silver medal.
He's the gun whisperer. I thought it was funny that the Americans didn't get any.
Yeah,
shooting
that
medals.
makes a lot more sense. The gun whisperer.
Yeah, come on, baby.
I would believe a secret agent more than he's the gun whisperer.
So this is a perfect segue. Let's get into a little bit of controversy, okay? Because we're talking about like misinformation on the internet which I just dive in. Nom, 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 nom. Okay, it's my favorite treat. This one was, big news. So female boxer accused of not being female because she is too good. Algerian boxer, I'm going to say it's Imani Khalif. So if I pronounce that wrong, okay, don't punch me out. Found herself at the center of a bitter controversy over her eligibility to take part in the Olympics after an opponent quit a fight in just 46 seconds. And that was all over, you could see that, like I forget who she's fighting, but she's crying. She's like waving it off, the boxer. Italian, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like immediately firestorm. She's a man and is not a man and is like born a woman and lived her entire life as a woman and is not only genetically a woman, identifies as a woman and competes as a woman and has competed as a woman.
Yeah.
But you go on Instagram and there's people are slowing down certain shots and like, there it is, that's the wiener. You can see it flopping around. Now she's fighting for the gold, and this should be like probably her proudest, greatest moment as an athlete, bringing glory to her country.
Instead, she's sitting there trying to prove to everybody that she is in fact a woman.
How insane is that? How do you guys...
First of all...
Yeah, let's unpack this one.
So, okay, she is a woman, but before that, when people thought she wasn't, the outrage that people had, and they're like, they should not have them in this sport. I'm like, okay, so in our society, we're being inclusive to them. Where should they be? So typically, if you are a male transitioning to a female, you're taking, estrogen and so your muscles actually can't get as strong. Like, you're putting the hormones into your body that hypothetically do make you a woman in the general makeup if you're going through with the surgery. And okay, so those athletes, they're not to compete. So then we're telling young transgender kids, there's no spot for you. And where do they play?
Because they're like, well, transgender games. We're selling, quite literally, we're celebrating it. And that is a society we've shifted to a non-binary model where people,
But then where do they compete?
And they don't host events. There's no other events.
Yeah.
So they have to be able to identify with whatever makes them most comfortable.
There has to be in one of the categories. And but again, if it's just Dex grows his hair long and is like, I'm a female, and goes and competes with the females,
I'd buy it. It's Pat. You seen that movie? Fuck.
No. But I only watch the Olympics.
Yeah.
We don't watch anything else. But then yes, that there's an issue with that. But if they've proven that they've been taking these, altering hormones that do, change their complex to make them more female and have less, because again, that's the thing is men build muscle stronger. So that's the argument, right? So if a man is competing against a woman, then he's genetically just stronger. Dex and I can go and do the same workouts, but he's just going to build muscle faster. It's just how he's made up.
You're stronger than Dex.
Yeah. No debate here.
But I've had to do 200 workouts to get stronger than Dex, and Dex goes 1 or 2 times a week.
3.
But you bring up an interesting point, because we don't live in this, fit in a box society, and the Olympics still is it's you watch men's 100 meter, women's.
Well, but there's mixed race.
But I think the other side
mixed
of that is this
there's
is
that one.
This isn't even that type of debate though,
because she's not.
It's not.
She's not.
That's not even the conversation.
But my issue was I don't know. I think it's shitty for her now that she's in this world stage. She's done everything that she needs to do, and still in question is what gender she is, which shouldn't have even been in conversation. But because I would hope the Olympics would do their due diligence to ensure that there wasn't a dick attached to this girl.
And they do people
so I'm this shouldn't have even been in question. But my issue is the outrage that people had, and they were like, this is ridiculous. How could they even let her strip her of everything? And I was like,
people bit so hard on that, and that was the most frustrating thing.
Big names.
Yeah, you go on social media and there's people that are perpetuating this, and clearly did
no
zero
research.
follow-up research on this. They just saw something that
they saw somebody crying because she realized she wasn't strong enough and hadn't trained hard enough to compete on the world stage. Yeah. Is really what it comes down to.
Completely diminished, completely reductive of this
other person's accomplishments.
Yeah. just to be like engaging in gender politics
Yeah.
when it's not even applicable in this.
It's not applicable, but
she's like,
even if it was applicable, again, they would have done the tests and like they should still be allowed to compete in the Olympic Games. So like we push our kids, and I mean, especially in like the US or like some of those big countries that this is their life. They groom their kids to go to the Olympics when they're good at a sport. Like, oh no, like don't apply yourself. You can't go anywhere.
yeah.
Like then what? Right? Yeah. So we're saying you're different in society. We're saying you can't play with everybody else. We're saying you can't do what the other people of the gender that you feel you're part of can do. So then what? We're putting them in a box.
Yeah.
But we're saying we're not. We're inclusive. We created bathrooms.
And I think especially if like other than race walking, where they found a way to be like, you know what, if you're all walking, you can all do it together.
They have tennis as well.
Oh well, yeah, but that's a very, yeah, okay.
But then what? Is
mixed
it two
doubles
male?
Events.
Then is it
Well, and just in the mixed race walking, it was a man doing the first leg, and then a female teammate doing the second leg, and then the man coming back in to do the last leg. So it was a team of men and women. It wasn't like women competing against men.
Okay, yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
It wasn't Mike Tyson versus.
But so the crazy thing about this female boxer is that she's been boxing obviously professionally for a long time, and her record isn't even that good. She's lost to women before. Like, and the one thing that people were coming out with, they were like, oh, well, the Russian boxing commission banned her for having too high of testosterone. I guess she has some type of genetic, I don't want to call it a disability, but a genetic condition.
Abnormality. It's different.
She's got a genetic condition where she naturally produces more testosterone. And they said, well, you've got too much testosterone. You can't compete in our Russian
against
boxing.
a Russian in the final.
Because they knew that she would beat them.
With a Russian commissioner. And that's the state of things. That's the internet right now.
And so it was there's some politics at play there. And like Russia doesn't exactly have a positive view of people who are LGBTQ
and Russia's not even like if they're competing in the Olympics, they're not allowed to compete under Russia. I can't remember what they're like.
Well, they're not allowed at all this year, but
they are, but they have to. It's like IIROC something. Anyway, they have to like. They're technically not like Russia is not allowed to compete, but they could submit and like become the independent something of Russia.
Yeah, but. So, like, Russia's a fucking corrupt, horrible country in the first place.
But we took their headline and ran with it.
And I wouldn't be shocked if, like, there's actually, like, Russian disinformation behind a lot of this.
We should maybe pay for some therapy for her. Like, Olympics should maybe throw some therapy money.
She definitely needs to be supported. There needs to be, like, a Renaissance movement. Like that, like, you know.
The entire world, well, not the entire world, but across the world, people were saying that she was not the gender that she is.
Yeah.
And again, like as we're looking at other people and kids, and like we know kids and we have them in our lives that are looking at that transition and like on a world stage, then everybody in the world's like, oh, you can't be that gender. Like you can't be a female. Like I was like, we just completely took everything we did over the last like 5 years and like just slashed and like went back to ground zero.
Oh yeah, we're moving backwards for sure.
Yeah.
And especially like in this case, like there's none of that. The only reason it exists is because of the misinformation, because she is female.
Yeah, it's like we're having a discussion that's not even relevant.
Yeah,
like everybody's like, oh,
but we're showing our true colors in it.
Should this man be allowed to beat up a woman? It's like, well, that's not even what's happening. So like we're having this crazy, like totally unrelated discussion that still is an important discussion to have, but like that's not what this is. But so many people like just swallowed that bait, and that it already aligned with their beliefs, and so they just ran with it. But again, they did zero research.
No one's following up. They're like, it's a man. Boom.
Or like the celebrities that were promoting, like, oh, we're gonna let men beat up women, and then they came back and they're like, oh yeah, like sorry, I didn't realize what was happening. They retracted their statement. Well, that's not the same as
the Italian girl didn't train hard enough. She wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. But, coming back and retracting what you said after you created this firestorm, it's like yelling fire in a movie theater and then being like, oh, hey, guys, like, actually wasn't a fire, sorry. Well, no, like the 10 people that got trampled on the way out,
they care.
Mattered
to them.
Yeah. They care that you originally yelled fire.
Well, that was Jake Paul.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch, but yeah, Jake Paul was a big one for sure.
That's just crazy, like the amount of followers, the amount of influence that guy has. And he's got a team of professionals that work behind him. And obviously they're not
they weren't just like, pump the brakes for 1 second.
Yo,
Let's
Jakey boy. Hey, yeah, no, she's a woman. So delete that.
Fact check.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's some responsibility there as like an influencer or whatever you want to refer to.
And now it's been marred. This, like, if she wins tomorrow, when she wins tomorrow, because she's, having a very good competition, this will be what people talk about forever.
Yep.
And
not her win.
That's fucking
and
dangerous.
also, she's Algerian, and it's illegal to be trans in Algeria. Like, she would be, if she was genuinely trans, she would be in jail. She wouldn't be at the Olympics.
Fuck Algeria.
Well, yeah.
Go her.
Like, we're talking about, she's from a progressive, predominantly Muslim country, right? Where you can't be a man that becomes a woman. Like, that's just not
Basically,
allowed.
we showed our true cards of like, well, not us specifically, but our society showed our true colors of like, oh, we say we're LGBTQ and like we support. Actually, we don't though when it comes to sports.
It's a hot button topic, especially in the Western Hemisphere,
And so like, but then like, again, yeah, we didn't fact check and it came out and I didn't know Algeria. Like Dex is the master of facts that why would anybody know? But like, he just knew that. And he's like, she's from Algeria. Like, there's no way she could even be here. She'd either be killed or in jail. Like, it's illegal for
Not
them to do
representing
that.
the country on a
Like, they're not going to like be like, oh, here, take some testosterone,
scale.
take
Yeah.
this. Like, they're going to do the opposite. They're probably like, you need estrogen in your system right now.
That would be like the ultimate hypocrisy, being like, yeah, like no trans, be like, oh, hide your dick though, because we really want to win. Like,
Yeah, you're not allowed to be trans unless you're good at a sport.
Yeah.
man, okay, that was lots of meat on that bone. Okay, we'll leave that one alone. I hope she wins tomorrow.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's doing really well.
Okay. So I
A
kind of
sport that I never watch until
boxing. I like
until it comes to the Olympics. I never watch it.
Olympic. Okay, here's a hot take. Olympic boxing is better than like professional boxing that you would watch on pay-per-view.
unpack that.
Shorter rounds and actually amateur athletes for the most part, unless it's like former professionals, and they fight way more frequently. So you've got these like big heavyweight fights that you would buy on your pay-per-view. That guy's fighting one big fight a year. These athletes are fighting 6 fights in a week. Mm-hmm. I just think it's way more physically intensive and impressive than I don't necessarily think it's more entertaining.
I like that you don't have to wait. Like, again, like you're watching these fights in succession. And I think that's like, for me, the draw of all of the Olympics. Like, I get to watch all these different events, but I'm not like, oh, a hockey season that's drawn out over 10 months of the year.
Oh, and it's
To
the biggest
see
stage.
the winner.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
I'm with you.
I just get to watch it for 14 days. And then it's done. And then I don't think about swimming again for another 4 years.
You don't think about Algeria. You don't think about boxing.
No.
It's instant gratification.
Instantly.
Yeah. That's the thing. The Olympics is supposed to be, pure sport, and that actually kind of brings it back to the not to dive back in, but the whole notion that like potentially, I don't even know what you'd call it, like gender doping or some fucking shit like that. But like, there's athletes at this Olympics who've been doxxed because they were smoking weed, and that one always gets me. I'm like, in what world
is that a performance?
are you
drug?
enhancing your performance?
You were limiting It's actually more impressive that you were smoking weed and then went.
To be fair,
You forgot your event because you were playing Call of Duty.
synchronized diving, if I were high, I would probably be a lot more confident in getting up on that board.
I wouldn't. I'd
I
have
would
a
just
fucking
fly.
panic attack.
They should have a
Yeah.
category for it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a number of obscure events. Like there's there's got
I
to be.
think there's something there where it's like you have before you compete your event, you have to have 25 milligrams of edibles or something.
And then
yeah.
try
Like
and
different weight
speed climb.
classes. Like
14 bong hit speed climb. That's my favorite event. Actually, it's speed fall. You hit the pookie up top and then just friggin' rappel backwards. Quickest drop.
See how quick.
Yeah, weed is tight. Okay, storylines. Canadian Gold Rush could be a record year. So this has been the summer of summer. Summer McIntosh with 3 gold medals in swimming.
She's incredible.
Another 17-year-old kid from Toronto. Blows my mind.
she's so old. She might as well.
She's
gonna
fucking
retire
hanging
next
up.
year,
She's
yeah.
retired.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's okay. Like I said, I don't watch Olympics, but the last time I remember watching Olympics, it was the Penny Oleksiak.
Alexiak.
Yeah, I hope I'm saying that correctly. But it was her showing her. She had a brother in the NHL.
Yeah.
But she's retired, right? Like
Yeah.
she competed at Tokyo, and that was it, out of the game. So this is a 17-year-old kid, won 3 gold medals. Krista Deguchi, gold in judo. And then, of course, our fucking Hammer Bro and Broette, which I did watch. I watched Cameron Rogers win, and that was fucking hype. And Ethan Katzberg, both from British Columbia. So there's 6 gold medals this year. And we're still going. I actually don't even know when the Olympics end. Do you guys know when does the Olympics end?
I think after this
Friday or
weekend.
Saturday?
Okay, it's coming up.
Yeah.
But if we could win 7 or more, it would be the most gold medals.
Well, and the beach volleyball girls, Melissa and Brandy, something like that. They've guaranteed either a silver, but they're in the gold medal match.
Yeah, there's some hopefuls.
Yeah.
So back to the collective effervescence. How big will that be for you Super Olympian fans?
To be honest, I didn't know that stat, that would be like the most.
I think it goes back to like what I said earlier, that Canada really punches above our weight by like capita, right? Like I think I was looking in it. It was, they had the medal standings, and it was obviously U.S. was at first, China was in second. I was like, but Canada's there in like 8th. But we had by far the lowest population of all these countries ahead of us. And so I was like, if you X'd our population to match the US, so that would be, times 10, and you multiplied our medals by 10, we would actually be in first, right? And it's not that simple to just be like, well, if you have more people,
But
you're going to
like,
win
if I were going
that many more
to go
medals.
to the Olympics, and like, yes, the U.S. wins more, but how much fucking cooler is it to be from Canada and like you're one of 7 gold medalists?
Well, there's a major gap in what's afforded to Olympic athletes in Canada versus people who are training and are high profile in America. Like you couldn't even say, you'd want to say like, oh, that's a pat on the back for the Canadian Olympic team in supporting our athletes and developing athletes, but it's not.
No, they have to.
clubs and stuff.
Local clubs, they do their own like.
And it's just that Canadian juice. It's just what's in us, like
Yeah.
So patriotic.
But I just think it's like way cooler. Like we know these people by name. Like in the U.S., if they won hammer throw, would they know Ethan's name?
Probably not.
Probably not, because you're one
behind
of
the list
how many-
Simone Biles and
Simone
LeBron
Biles won,
James
and yeah.
Oh yeah, these guys are national heroes now.
Yeah.
National treasures.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's so much cooler to be in Canada and win, because again, you don't get that opportunity. Like there's not as many of them to go around, so like they come home and like we all know their names.
yeah, there's a notoriety aspect to it for sure.
Some fun facts on that one. So yes, the most we've won is 7 in Tokyo, but we also won 7 in Barcelona. So it could be the most ever. And the last time Canada competed at the Paris Olympics, they won 0 gold medals in 1924.
I was like, when was the last Paris
Oh,
Olympics?
well, that was right after World War One. All of our good athletes are still in France,
yeah.
not alive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was a huge effort, huge war effort. British
Yeah.
Expeditionary Force. We weren't even Canada then.
Well, we were Canada, but we were still a part of the British. Yeah,
We were like
we
the
were a colony.
Dominion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, not to turn this into a war podcast, we totally could. But like, just like Canadians winning golds, punching above their weight, at that point in time, First World War, when Canada got involved, like countries were already fighting. And countries, in the United Kingdom, like England, like they were depleted. They didn't have anyone else to enlist. And you had like boys fighting. So when Canada got involved, you actually had like these regs and reserves that came over who were, actual adult men and women that were trained specifically to fight. So Canada was like a really badass part of that war. So,
Yeah.
Did you know there's a lot of lines in the Geneva Convention rules that were made up because of Canada?
This has come up
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
because of all of our war crimes.
because of our war crimes. Well, yeah,
Because we're so badass.
It's not a war crime if it's the first time, but Canada used to, like, I believe in the trenches in World War One, Canada would booby trap food. So the Germans, when they were depleted, they were like, "Oh, we don't have
You
any
guys are
food."
losing me.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is the Olympic podcast.
The Canada would throw like booby-trapped food. They'd throw food over, and the Germans would be like, "Oh, we're picking up all this cans of food in our
Neat.
trenches." Like,
So gold medals.
and then they would throw grenades after, and it was hilarious.
That's super
Anyway.
funny.
Dex.
Sorry, you
I
got
got
me
to
on a
keep you on
tangent.
track. I
Yeah.
know. So I can't bring up war around you.
No.
No.
Can only talk about
Can't.
Olympic glory. That's why I got Alisha on the show. All right. So did I miss any big storylines? I know I did.
Canadian
What?
soccer team.
Okay. I said
No,
I said sports.
No, today it came out that Parliament is going to have an inquiry into the spying scandal.
The drone. That is
Yeah.
a huge one. Okay. Storyline.
What are they inquiring?
That's the bullshit of it. So like Parliament, like,
It's optics.
well, but it's like focus on your shit. Like, okay, is this a big scandal?
You got
I
nothing else
personally
going
don't think
on,
it is.
right?
Yeah, like you got to run a country. You can't be worried about like what did Canada Soccer do. Let FIFA, the IOC, and Canada Soccer investigate that shit. Does not make it like a national thing in Parliament, because I don't want my parliamentarians focusing on, you know,
We got bigger issues.
yeah, there's way bigger issues. Like that's just not even a thing. And I honestly don't even think it's that bad. So they're fucking spying. Every team does it. I don't think it's good, but it's not that big of a deal.
And what could you even, like, yeah, there is precedent that other teams have been doing it. And it's also like, what could you really glean from that? It's not the first time. And now they're going back and they're saying like, oh, the men's side has actually been doing this for years. And it's like this whole thing. But what is like an independent Canadian-led inquiry? Like what's the fruits of those labor?
I don't know. And it's not like people are getting like sexually assaulted within the program. Is that like, that's not what we're investigating. We're investigating a drone. We're investigating a drone. Like
To
that,
see, was there set plays in soccer? It doesn't really make sense to me.
on corner kicks
That's
there are and
literally
stuff,
what I
but
said. I
yeah.
was like, what plays are they watching? They just run on a field.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Like, oh yeah, guys, fucking running this way and that way. And
Oh, we
kicking
got
the
to
ball
this
all
line.
willy-nilly.
Like they're only allowed to run to a line, and then they stop, and then
they're trying to
fall
get the
and
ball in the
cry.
net. Everybody take note of that.
Dex even missed
He's
the
taking
Canadian
notes.
game, and I had to sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
And I
And
was
report.
like, I'm ready to punch this girl in the face because she has fallen, not from Canada, but
Yeah, she's on the
Germans. And she fell at least 15 times.
Should have thrown a grenade over there.
And I was like,
Some booby-trapped food.
why is there not like a replay where it's like, did they actually touch them?
They have that technology, right? Yeah, they could. They'd go back. Like, oh,
No, they don't. It's just immediately go in like,
They have
couldn't, I guess,
VAR
challenge.
to review like if the ref calls a penalty
like
kick,
a penalty kick. But like
those
most, that's like
inconsequential
so
ones in the middle
rare.
of the field, they won't review.
They won't review. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. And she did it like 4 times in a row. And like, I don't know soccer, but I was like, this is the shift in the game because Canada was playing quite good. And then she kept crying on the field and kept getting the ball turned over to her. And there we are.
I'd love to see the notes from the Canadian coach that like flew the drone. You know, just like, oh, it looks like they got about 10 people out there.
One keeper, that's 11.
One goalie. They really want to put that ball in the net.
Just
So-
make sure-
so look out for that.
Well, and
We'll just make sure Clint's not getting any drones for his coaching.
Yeah, hopefully he has more integrity than that. But,
Clint, no
It's
drones.
Clint.
He doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't.
I'll pass it along. But yeah, and in soccer you do have set plays, but it's, you know, how are they going to know which one they're using? How are they like? There's so little that I think they could glean from that. That's actual spying, which almost
Like
brings
they're
up the
not
point. Like,
practicing
why would
their,
you do it?
their code word. Like
Banana.
But I was just going to say the same code word.
Oh my God, you guys are adorable. I love having you on the show. Alisha, you can be a rad dad with us.
Thanks.
We won't
Am
talk.
I a dad?
We won't talk. Well, okay.
Let's not get
all
into
right.
that
All
discussion.
right. Do you have a cock?
I don't know. That's for the Olympic Committee to determine.
Well, if you peg Dex, I mean, there's some gray area there. But let's refocus here. I don't want to lose Alisha anymore. Did I miss any other storylines? I obviously missed a million.
I think those were like,
I think we covered some of the big ones.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the Paraguay lady getting kicked out. There was nothing else really shocking.
There's the American sprinter today, Lyles, who I
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
he had COVID.
Well, that's what he's saying.
But he
Well,
won the
no.
100 meter,
But he came
in
third in the 200.
Yeah.
which is his chosen event.
But it's
But
funny because
he allegedly he tested positive this morning and then ran and then collapsed and
he
had to
came
get
out
credit
and
out.
was doing like this huge, like they were
There was also,
introducing and he
like,
was doing this huge, like he was running and he was like hyping up the crowd and he was the favorite to win. And then he came third, and I was like, man, like you really
And then he
oversold
just
that.
collapsed
He's like,
and was like,
I have COVID.
he used to be a soccer player for sure.
Word on the street is he went for a skinny dip in Le Poupidou de Riviere and
Yeah, actually,
contracted polio.
Yeah, COVID sounds pretty mild from what you could get from that river.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of those episodes of Sprint.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of like the Simone Biles, because that was another one that was in leading up, like a lot of storylines. Sha'Carri Richardson, is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was one of the ones that was removed from competition for smoking weed.
Yep.
Again, in a sprinting event. Fucking come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't think they know how weed works. Like,
Oh yeah, there's absolutely that like reefer madness still at play in sports.
Globally, absolutely.
Yeah, because they're like, you smoked weed? That's you can't compete. It's like, no, I would rather compete against somebody that has been smoking weed.
Yeah.
Smoke more.
Could they actually just like take vote of like everyone in the competition? Like all the speed walkers get together, like, hey, okay, all right, are you guys cool with weed?
yeah.
I don't think you can. You get into speed walking because you do drugs. That's how you decide that that's your sport.
Yeah, and then you have to cut it off and keep your hips moving. Olympic trivia.
Oh God.
Are you ready? Dex, play that Olympic trivia jingle you've been working on.
Thanks, soundboard.
You know what? You do so much work. Dex. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Dex does all the editing on the show, and so the jingle throwback is one of my favorites. You've made some amazing ones, but it is a lot of work. You know, I do appreciate you.
I like making them sometimes.
Yeah, you know, we've got an episode that we've recorded. You're working on. It was a really long one. You do work. If your wife would get you off of Excel or let you, you know,
To be fair, I don't think you
have some time
started
to yourself.
editing that one.
I do a lot of work.
Okay, Olympic trivia. Are you ready? You guys, I'll read the questions. Some of them are multiple choice.
Ooh.
Some of them are bullshit. And then you guys get to answer separately.
Okay.
Maybe some hilarious banter will ensue. Maybe we'll learn something. All right. What year did the Olympic game originate? Olympic Games, plural.
Oh God. Is there a multiple choice?
Yeah.
Are we talking modern Olympic Games?
We are not.
Okay.
The first ever. Was it 500 BC? Was it 776 BC? Was it 25 AD or BCE? Okay. If you're not Christian and you don't like naked blue people. Or was it 1896? Alicia.
I have no idea. C.
Okay, you're saying
The one with all the letters.
you're going 25 AD?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said a lot of letters with it.
What
so
were the first two options?
Okay.
500 or 776.
Wow. Photographic memory.
Yeah, but don't ask me when it was.
I'm going to say 776
It was 776
Wow.
BC.
because it was the ancient Greek, so it would have been before the birth of Jesus.
Dex with his all these facts.
Yeah.
No, he knows it because the original Olympics was only men and they were naked,
Yeah.
greased up in olive oil.
Yeah, it's his favorite thing to watch.
He's just
Let's
a
go back to
super
that.
fan.
Let's go back to that.
Super fan Dex.
Get this kayak cross out of the Olympics. Let's see some naked marathons. Just fucking dick banging against your legs as you're running around.
You want to get me to watch? You want more? I'm in.
You didn't talk about the French guy and the vaulting.
Oh yeah, where his dick
Where's
knocked off the.
He knocked his dick off? Okay, hold on. We're going to pause trivia. We're going to play the back to storylines. Okay, reverse. Okay, someone's dick fell right off.
No. He vaulted. It was a pole vault, so he
Oh, and
went
his
up.
dick knocked the
and
bar.
His dick knocked the bar, but like they slow mode it, and it's just like
And his dick just like fully wraps around the bar. It was a hog.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
If you actually look at it,
My dick is not taking a bar down. If I was
if
able to
you
get
were
that high.
in
Up.
that tight of outfits,
I would have to be
Thank you
fully.
for
I would have to be
complimenting my
fully
dick size.
erect and like come
I'm
across the
not
bar.
saying that it was his
horizontal.
dick.
I think it was. his
I'm
dick.
thinking it was his balls that like he was right up on the bar and it just like lifted it up. Anyway,
So he's either got a huge
we'll find out.
dick or a huge balls.
But we'll find out because apparently he got a whole bunch of X-rated like offers of like $250,000.
well, if you're going to lose an event, that's how you want to lose it.
Yeah.
I
My
lost 'cause of my
dick
dick.
got in the way. My huge monstrous cock prevented me from competing.
But then it's
at the
gonna be
highest
way
level.
funnier if he like goes on this X-rated and it's just like Meh.
Yeah, we'll follow up on that one. I see. This is one you guys have disagreed on most. Is the like dick size
Dick
in
size,
question?
Well, actually,
got a huge
I'm
hog.
going to take it because my wife complimented me. She's like, yeah, your dick could knock that off if you were wearing tight enough clothes.
Your dick.
If you're wearing tight enough clothes, like you jumped, like your balls probably, as he's flipping, they fell forward and then. Vroom.
I would look like.
Anyway, watch the
I would
video.
look
For the people who are not like in the room, there was like quite the reenactment right there
yeah.
with sound effects and everything.
If I wore like spandex tight lycra, I'd look like Amani Khalif, like just like no dick there.
We're like trying to spot the dick.
Yeah, there'd be controversy there. He's a woman. Okay, next trivia question. How many times has Canada hosted the Summer Olympics? Is it 0 times? Is it 1 time? Is it 4 times? Or is it 3 times? Start with Dex.
I think just once.
Yeah, once.
Nailed it.
Montreal, right?
Montreal 76. You guys are super fans. How many dicks fell off in Montreal?
That was actually a big year for dick loss. Yeah.
That was Prefontaine, right? Yeah, he was in there. His dick stayed on, but
Others not so lucky.
yeah. Fun fact about Canada hosting its one and only Summer Olympic Games. Did not win a gold medal that year.
Ooh, that's no bueno.
My grandpa was on the 88 Olympic committee.
No way.
I think I don't know.
He was
I
in
my
charge of the
grandma, he was in
athletes'
charge
village.
of the athletes village.
Everyone throws this around. Oh, he was in charge of the orgy?
Yeah.
He organized it.
Yeah.
If only
No
I
one's
had
getting
thought to
kicked
ask
out.
these questions prior.
Oh my god.
My very Catholic grandfather would have been like, it was fine.
But you know it wasn't fine. That fucking blue man didn't like that. Who is the only Canadian athlete to win medals in both the summer and winter games? Haley Wickenheiser, Clara Hughes, Charles Hamlin, or Alexandre Blido?
I think it's Claire Hughes.
The last one.
It's Clara Hughes.
It was softball and skating.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
so you're thinking of Haley
She-
Wickenheiser because she competed in hockey and in, I believe it was softball or fast pitch.
Okay.
But Clara Hughes was speed skating and cycling.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, very
didn't know she
decorated.
was-
Girl power.
No idea she was cycling.
Yeah. And no dick.
Interesting.
What country leads the Parade of Nations at the opening ceremony at the Olympic Games? Is it the host nation, the nation that won the medal count at the previous games, Canada, or is it Greece?
I think it's Greece because that's where the Olympics started.
I'm going to agree with that.
You both nailed it. You guys should get Olympic tattoos. You guys should get the 5 rings.
Don't they go Greece and then they go alphabetical after that?
I found this really interesting because I would have thought like it would have either been the host nation or like, hey, you guys won because it's like a track meet. You fucking won the games.
See, in my thought, it should be the country that hosted last.
But it's Greece. Greece always comes out first in
Yeah.
the Parade of Nations because the
But then
Olympic
who
Games
follows Greece? I've never looked at it that closely.
That's a great question. I don't have that trivia question.
Okay.
It's a bonus trivia question.
Okay.
Email
that
us
out.
if you know the answer.
I swear
Yeah.
it's alphabetical after that.
I don't think so.
But even then, I'll never forget this. I don't know why this sticks out in my memory, but in the Athens game, in like the Greek alphabet, actually in many countries' alphabet, Canada starts with a K. So like, whose alphabet?
Yeah.
Riveting stuff. Whoa. Which athlete became the first Canadian man, genetic man, to repeat as Olympic champion in an individual event? Was it Charles Hamlin, Alexandre Bilideau, Mark McMorris, or Mike Riddle?
Hamlin?
I want to say Mark McMorris.
It was Bilideau.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, in the Moguls event. He was the first Canadian to win a gold on home soil. So he won in Vancouver 2010, and then he successfully defended his title in Sochi. Fun fact, women have done it a couple times.
Yeah.
Rosie McLennan in trampoline did it in London and then in Rio, and your hero, Katrina LeMaydon, did it in Nagano and in Salt Lake City. So men suck. Boys drool. Men are from Venus. I don't know that one. I can't. Let's try to think of that one. Okay, last one here. Which country has hosted the Olympic Games the most? Is it England, France, Greece, or USA? And I will clarify, I am referring to modern Olympic Games, not naked, oiled up Greek guys.
Okay, what were the 4 options?
England, France, Greece, and USA.
I'm going to say USA.
That's where I was going, but then I was like, was it France? I think it's US. I don't know.
USA! USA! 8 times. Soon to be
wild.
9.
Yeah.
Repeat in LA.
It's wild because, like, then you come to Canada and, like, yeah, it was Vancouver Olympics. Like, it's in the US, like, it's very much in a smaller location. Like the Calgary, but I mean, even then, I think they went out to the mountains and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it was all over. It was like...
Yeah, it was, like, everywhere. But, like, the US, it's, like, pretty close. Even Paris, like, it's all pretty close.
Yeah. And the U.S. had Atlanta. Which other ones did they have? Salt Lake.
They had LA, they had Atlanta.
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid twice.
Oh, wow.
Twice.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised there's not more repeats. Like, there's all this work put into, like...
You've got the infrastructure. That was a big thing this year.
And you got to pay to play, right? Yeah. Like, the countries that have money, that have connections, they're who's hosting these things.
Like,
France is doing, like, they're either repurposing old venues or they're doing temporary venues. That's a big thing this year. So they're not building a ton of new...
To keep costs down.
Yeah.
But I feel like, truthfully, in the Summer Olympics, that's easier to do. It's outdoor events. Half of it's in the water.
Yeah, the poopy doo-doo water.
You got the poopy doo-doo river.
The poopy doo-doo water was the most expensive thing
when you
for
actually
them.
apply to host the Olympics, they want to know your dirtiest river.
It's going to be a thing now.
They can't clean their streets because they put all their money towards the Olympics.
It's going to be like Canada and the Geneva Convention, where they're like, you can't do it if it's the first time. Like, next time they're planning the Olympics, they're like, all right, no shit rivers. That's fucking... Okay.
Cut the shit river.
Yeah, you cannot have people swimming in shit. I'm just looking it up here. So it was St. Louis was the other one.
Okay.
You got them all but St. Louis, which was like a long time ago. Well, it was fun. It was fucking fun Olympic chat.
Good chat.
And I love having Alisha on the show.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Is it something that you would consider doing again? I mean, you're the voice of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good time. I like it when it's about topics that I know. It was a lot harder to go into the moms episode because I had no idea what we were talking about. The Olympics, I mean, I've just watched it for the last 10 days.
Yeah, you're the expert, and you watch it
I wouldn't
every time
say
it comes around.
the expert, but I enjoy watching it.
If I paid for your matching Olympic ring tattoos, would you get it?
So many people would be like, did you go to the Olympics? What did you compete in?
We could put like a little asterisk around the Olympic rings. Or right up top, like, we like the...
In like really tiny letters.
Yeah. Super fans of...
That'd be so funny.
Yeah, because you see all the Olympians with like the Olympic tattoos. Like,
Super fans.
especially the swimmers. The swimmers always seem to get the Olympic ring tattoo. That's like a thing.
That's what I was telling you about, the people that get in just to get in, you know, the influencers. That's like they're in for whatever, competing for Paraguay, super pipe skiing, and they're getting a tattoo. That's the first thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're branding yourself. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? How many people realistically get to say they went to the Olympic Games? Not that many.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Didn't you go in like 2010 as a spectator?
No.
Confusing
We
friends.
were too poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think Brad went.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't go. I would
Brad
love
had more money than us.
I would love to go to the
LA.
ones in LA when they come. That'd be really cool. I've already signed up for World Cup tickets when it comes to Canada. That's not the Olympics.
To me, I would be more interested in going to the Summer Olympics.
Ooh.
But I mean, I'm for us, like basketball, soccer, track and field. And I just to me, there's like more, but I mean, bobsled, luge would be fun to watch. Speed skating.
For me, if the
Cycle Dome, I'm like, I don't understand this.
Oh yeah, I that's one that came up, and I was like, next. I'd rather watch Bluey. The team, they're all just sniffing each other's butts with their fucking like elongated helmets. They look like coneheads. I'm like, this is fucking lame. The Winter Olympics, if the NHL comes back, and like, I know it's a major insurance issue. I don't want to lose you again, Alisha. But if you can continue to bring pro sports into those games,
Yeah.
I'd be so fucking into that.
Yeah, going to the hockey game. That's
But,
like,
like,
I've always
to
said that's
me-
the one time I can cheer for like McDavid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
on Team Canada now.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I'm just like, I think maybe because we can go and watch hockey.
It's not so exotic.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't ever, like, it's very rare I get to go to an NBA game. Like, I've been, but like, it's not as frequent.
You're not going to follow the World Cup circuit for the next 4 years of mixed, race, speed walking. Like, it's over. 10 meters
Oh, yeah,
speed
it's-
climb. Like, we're not
It's a
following
one
that.
and done kind of thing, but like, I'll tune. But I will probably, I want to see some of these like rock climbers. Where
Yeah.
are these events?
Or the steeplechase.
Ooh. Steeplechase, another one. And they had like weird potted plants out on the track. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very... I
don't understand.
The ambiance, the feng shui.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Alicia,
Good
thank
times.
you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thanks, dear. See you upstairs to watch some more Olympics.
Yeah. See you in 5 minutes.
You've cut into my Olympic watching time.
Yeah. Dex, do we have anything on the go?
We're gonna be we're signing up for the Chili Con cook-off.
We are trying. We are.
Is it actually called Chili Con?
No, that's the
No,
South Park
that's the
restaurant.
next Chili Con. We are trying. We are in the application process to compete at the Chili Cook-Off with our Baja Blast Off
It's gonna be
chili.
so bad.
We're gonna make a Mountain Dew Baja
Grossest
Blast.
chili.
So stay tuned for more information on that. I hope we get in. I hope we can actually make that happen.
I think we'll have an update on a future episode, but we're gonna need all of our listeners, all
You're
2
going to
dozen
have
of
a lot of editing to do before.
you. Yeah, all 2 dozen.
This
of
might
you that
be
are
just
listening.
like Dex has inserted into the episode of like, and we are in it.
That's why we're recording this, so we're done for August, so Dex can hit the lab.
Yeah. Dexter's
Oh,
Laboratory.
Oh yeah, no, that's in August. Yeah. Okay.
And we're
well,
gone all next
wa-
week, so I'm not really
Watch-
sure.
Watch on our socials. I guess that's where we'll update you.
Maybe
if we're
this
not
is in
recording.
post. Hopefully you came down, all 24 of you, and ate our Baja Blast off and shit your pants off. Oh, you made your
You
own.
will have, because you guys are not going to let anybody not come down. Like,
Oh, you're all coming, and you're all gonna make le poopy doo doo rivers in your pants after eating our chili. So
Yeah, we're gonna turn the Sheep River into the Seine.
there'll be no more events ever hosted after the chili cook-off. Yeah, come check us out. Hopefully we get this out before then. No pressure, D.
And we do have another great episode in the hopper.
All right. Peace. Olympic glory to all y'all.
bye.